Hello again, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about 5 very practical things that you can do to deal with anxiety. If you did not get a chance to watch the last 2 videos I did about overcoming anxiety, I'm going to include a link on this video for you to click on because those 2 videos, they really meant a lot to me. As I shared in that video or those videos, it's a part 1 and a part 2. I had never publicly shared that I had dealt with anxiety and that I still to this day, I do things to make sure that I don't have another anxiety attack and I can just do the best that I can do. And I want to say thank you to those of you who reached out to me. I got text messages, DMs, comments on my social media. Actually, I only posted it on my personal Facebook page and the link is on my Instagram page, but I'm going to post it on my public Facebook page as well. I actually forgot to do that. But the messages that I got, I even got phone calls of people thanking me for sharing, people who they've been dealing with this their whole lives. So for them, it's just life as usual and what they've been dealing with, so they don't feel a need to share. For some people, they were afraid to share that they've dealt with anxiety. Even some people who've dealt with the fear of death because a loved one or a friend passed away at a certain age. And I got several messages about that. That's very real. And sometimes you hesitate to do something, but it needs to get out there. And that is what part 1 and part 2 was for me. So thank you guys for reaching out, for letting me share my story with you and for being so open and receptive to it. And if you guys know anyone who's dealing with this, please watch those videos and please share them. And there's so many other resources out. There are the YouTube videos as well, but just try to get some resources and some facts and information on what you can do to help move through, because you don't have to sit and wallow and live in it. You don't have to wear the coat, you know what I mean? So just thank you. Today I'm going to be sharing the 5 things that I am currently doing to help deal with feelings of anxiety, overwhelm, stress, all of that. So let's hop right in. The number one thing that I did, I downloaded this app called Calm, okay? And I'm gonna link all of this in the description box below. But Calm is an app that, oh my God, it's amazing. So you get the first 7 days free, and then I think for the year it's like $60. So for some people, that's a little expensive. I wanna say that's the most I've ever paid for an app. I paid for it, totally paid for it. I'm like, this is a very small price to pay. I mean, you spend $60 going out to eat. So I love the app. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. I love it. They have different meditations, guided meditations, daily themed meditations, just relaxation music. They have bedtime stories. I know that sounds a little cheesy, but they're great. Just relaxing things on every kind of level for kids, for adults, for teens. They also have different resources of celebrities sharing their experiences. They even have a little portion on the app, like a masterclass portion on the app where they're talking about different ways to deal with anxiety and different ways to calm down, relax yourself, meditate, just becoming more mindful. That's the thing. The whole thing is becoming more mindful because we get so bogged down in the day-to-day activities, stress from work, family, colleagues. It's a lot. It's a lot. And if you don't have a daily practice that you can implement, anybody can go through anxiety. Anybody can find themselves super duper stressed out. And it's resources out there. So for me, the Calm app was it. They have other different meditation apps, but that particular app, I love it so much. Number 2, physical activity. When I first started feeling overwhelmed and stressed out, I remember seeing a video on YouTube of my friend, and she's a great businesswoman, wonderful lady. Her name is Stacy Flowers. If you haven't heard of her, make sure you follow her. She's here on YouTube as well as Instagram, all over the social medias. But she does this thing called a gratitude walk. And I would see her do it and I'm like, okay, that's great, Stacey. You know, that's wonderful. And I knew I needed to get some physical activity in. So I said, okay, I'm just going to start walking. And then one day I said, you know, let me try this gratitude thing that I see my friend doing on Instagram. So the premise of these walks is that you go on a walk, just a stroll. It can be walking at the same speed that you'd be walking if you're in a mall or just taking a stroll down the park. So it's not like a brisk walk if you don't want it to be. And as you're walking, you're just saying what you're happy and you're grateful for. And I would see her do these and I said, oh, this is wonderful. And I would hear her excitement. But for me, it's just a walk. That's great. So one day I actually tried it. I went for a walk, but I was in so much turmoil that I could not even open my mouth to say what I was happy and grateful for. When that happened to me, I knew I had a problem. I knew there was a problem. If I can't open my mouth and say, I'm happy and grateful for my marriage, my husband, my body, like my life, my lungs. If I can't say that, something's wrong. And it's like it was a block that I just couldn't even get out and say what I was happy and grateful for. And I knew, okay, you need to try this again. And I think it was just so much going on. And I had pent up anger and pent up frustration. It's like, if I say I'm happy and grateful for it, I'm lying to myself and to everything. I'm lying. So I'm not gonna lie about this. So I'm not saying what I'm happy and grateful for. But I tried it again. And every day I would go out and let's say I walked for 30 minutes, but I only could say what I was happy and grateful for 2 minutes or for 5 minutes or for 10 minutes. And each and every day I would notice that if I went on my walk, frustrated, irritated, overwhelmed, I always came back feeling better, like physically, mentally, like, I felt lighter. And I'm like, what is this about? What is this gratitude thing? Like, why is she doing this every morning? Now, why am I out here doing this? And let me see what's going on with this. So I did a little bit of research, and this is what I found out about being in gratitude, generally speaking. According to UCLA's Mindfulness Awareness Research Center, regularly expressing gratitude, which is the quality of being thankful and readiness to show appreciation, literally changes the molecular structure of the brain. Literally changes it, okay? And it keeps the gray matter functioning and makes us happy and healthier. So I'm like, okay, what is gray matter? Thank God for Google. Gray matter contains most of the brain's neuronal cell bodies. The gray matter includes regions of the brain involved in muscle control and sensory perception, such as seeing and hearing, memory, emotions, speech, decision-making, and self-control. So I'm like, gratitude does all of this. This is why I started being happier. I started being more optimistic about life, about my circumstances, about my situations, and then coupled with me already understanding the power of my voice, the power of speaking things into existence, the power that I am always creating my reality, right? The power of once you say it, it is so. You will have what you say. So I'm putting all this together and I'm like, man, this is pretty darn awesome. So the gratitude coupled with just the physical activity of being outside, that's another thing. Being in nature, being outside, walking around, getting some sun. You know, a lot of times when you're dealing with depression or anxiety or stress, you want to stay in the house. You don't want to go out. You want to stay in the house. You want to sit in front of the TV, lay on the couch, sit in the bed. You don't really want to do much. But when you get out in nature, it is something about being outside that is a natural healer. So it's like all of those things working together, it was just marvelous. So I would also include yoga. That was also very helpful for me. I am also doing a bar class right now, which is really good. It's challenging. Oh my gosh. It's like a kind of different variation of bar where you're doing bar, but you're doing also, they add cardio in and different plyometrics. So it's really challenging, but it gives me that physical stimulation I need. It makes me feel so much better. It releases those endorphins that seem that they were trapped when I was going through anxiety. So physical activity, challenging your body, has been a complete game changer for me. Number 3, listen to your body. And what I mean by that, eating, sleeping, and resting. So eating, I'm not talking about you're craving a whole cake, so you're gonna go eat that. No, most of the time you're craving that kind of stuff when you're like in a low place. I mean, like, let me give you an example from me. I know what my body needs to be fueled versus just being fed, okay? There's a difference. And I know when I eat certain things, it puts me in a funky space, right? So literally it'll give me brain fog. My mood literally swings when I'm not eating according to what my body needs. And I just can't think properly. It just puts me in a funk, right? So if I know that there's certain things that I eat that do this to me, my body's trying to tell me something. I need to listen, right? So I need to put things in my body that fuel me. Yes, there's times where I splurge, but all in all, I had to make a change in what I was putting in my body, which made a complete and huge difference. Sleeping, making sure you're getting enough sleep at night so that your body can recharge, right? This seems obvious, but again, I didn't realize that I was losing sleep over what was happening. So not only was I losing sleep, I also wasn't eating. And then if I did eat, it wasn't the right thing. So it was just a vicious cycle. So if you're not resting and you're not eating right, you're waking up exhausted, right? And then rest. That's separate from sleeping to me, because sometimes you need to just sit down. Like literally sit down. For me, having a toddler, always running around, always going places, very rarely do I find myself just sitting down during the day. But sometimes you just need to sit down, and not sit down to turn the TV on or sit down to get on your phone or your computer, but to sit down and literally breathe. Breathing is so important. Again, I heard these things over the years, but I guess I just didn't take them seriously, or I just didn't think I needed to apply them to my life. But to sit down and breathe, to exhale and just relax your mind, relax your body. It can be 5 minutes, it can be 20 minutes, but those little pockets of relaxation, it makes a huge difference where you just quiet your brain. My brain's always going. I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to go here, I have to go there, this task, that task, this to-do list. Shut it all down and just take a breather. Another game changer for me. Number 4, recognize your self-talk. We are always talking to ourselves. We are always telling ourselves a story. When I was going through anxiety, I started being a gentle observer of myself, and I started paying attention to the limiting beliefs that I had, that I had no idea were going on before. And I talked about this in my overcoming anxiety videos. And I started observing those thoughts. And I would say things like, of course, when I had the fear of death, because my mother passed at 37, you're next, but specifically around the anxiety of dealing with the family issues I was dealing with. Oh, this is not going to end well. This person's going to do this. This person's going to do that. You're going to end up like this. It's just not going to end well. You can't do all this stuff. But my body, I'm day to day, I'm going about thinking I'm fine. I'm like, oh, those are just, whatever. I got this. But I really wasn't dealing with what I was thinking and what I was feeling. I just glossed over it. I didn't intentionally say, no, those are lies. They are not true. It will turn out well for you. It will turn out well for your family. This is not the end all be all. Like, everything that is meant for bad will turn out for the good for you. That is just what's going to happen. It's going to get better and better and better and better. We are not preparing ourselves for tragedy. We're not living our lives as if it's going to be tragedy every day. That's not what we are creating, okay? So when I became intentional, that is how I spoke to myself. But when it was just the passivity of these thoughts going all over the place, it's like, well, okay, maybe so, but then, okay, just put on a happy face. No, let's really deal with it. So that is what I mean by recognize your self-talk and correct it. Correct the self-talk. Just debunk those lies over and over and over and over again. Debunk them. They're lies. Just debunk them. You have to prove to your brain that they're lies. If you don't prove to your brain that they're lies, you're believing them. And if you believe them, it will be so in your life. And is that what you want? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Number 5, prayer. Praying became so much easier for me around this situation when I knew what I was dealing with. I am a praying woman. I'm a woman of faith. So I'm always in communion with God. I'm always talking to God. I pray throughout the day. You know, I may not spend 3 hours, in a prayer closet, but I am always praying in my mind under my breath constantly. That's just who I am. But I will say that understanding what was really happening to me and what was really going on and observing my thoughts and understanding what was trying to take over, I believe it made my prayers more powerful. Because before, like I said, I think I was just kind of glossing over things. It's almost like, okay, let's say you have a child and you get a call from the teacher and they're telling you your child has been misbehaving, your child has been hitting people, your child is not eating their lunch, they're not playing during recess. Instead of walking in a straight line down the hall, they're running and pushing people, and they call you and tell you, come get your child. When you get there, you're not just going to say, okay, little Johnny, let's go home. Thank you, Mrs. Smith. That's not what you're going to do. You want to talk to the teacher, or if you can't talk to her right then, you want to set up a meeting. You want to know what's going on. You want to know how long it's been happening. You want to know what's been triggering these emotions. Like, did something happen and then he started hitting and pushing, or was a direction given to him and then he threw his papers all over the place? And why, if this is not just it's just now beginning, why are you just now hearing about it? Like, you want to kind of know some background. You want to know what's happening with your child. And then when you go home, you can construct a plan of action. You can construct a plan of prayer. You can construct a plan of what you're going to do if your child needs some professional help, a little bit more attention, a different teacher, different classroom, like whatever that child needs. It's like you have a plan of action. You know what you're fighting for, like specifically. You understand what I'm saying? So that is how it was with me. I needed to know what was really going on. And that is why I ended up going to the hospital. Because I said, listen, this is not normal for me, okay? It's not normal. So I need to go to the hospital and I need them to tell me what they see, if anything, so that I know what I'm dealing with. So prayer was a very intricate part of my journey, is a very intricate part of my life, It's what gets me through. It's how I make it. It's how I can get up every day and continue smiling. So those are the 5 things that I did and am currently doing while still on this journey called life. So I thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.